great.
Jets! 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 Jets!
Oh my God, it's so beautiful. 78 degrees, Jets football, and we're winning. That's what's going on today. That's why everybody's so psyched. This isn't no happenstance. This is a guarantee, just like Joe Namath said. See that?
There are few things in life you cannot put a price on. Loyalty, tradition, fierce passion. Today is a gigantic family reunion because finally, they're back.
Jetty Jet fans, here we are on a wonderful Saturday afternoon. Mark Sacchetti's in the house. He says, how you doing, everybody? I said, I'm good, Mark Sacchetti. How you doing? Welcome to the show. I am GreenBean, and we are going to talk on a Saturday about the New York Football Jets. How's that sound? It's a wonderful day to do so. It's approximately 40 degrees or so down here in the rural area between Charlottesville and Richmond, Virginia. Let's see, I got 49 degrees, which quite frankly feels like a balmy Saturday because man, oh man, has it been bitter cold, which is to me football weather. I don't know. There's nothing quite like cold skin playing football, like, I don't know. There's something about it. You know what I even love like the most is, and they're getting further and further away from it with all the domes and all that stuff. But man, oh man, do I love a good snow game. It happened, I think the Buffalo game last week or the week before ended up being a snow game. There's something about it. Don't you guys love a good snow game? Remember 2 years ago, we ended the season against the New England Patriots, and it was a snow game. Breece Hall popped off for like 160 yards. I think that was the same game where Breece Hall coming into the season ending, the season finale against the New England Patriots needed like 168 yards to get 1,000. And we're like, who's going to get 168 yards on the ground? So we didn't have any real hope. But during the game, Breece is just popping off. 20 here, 34 there, 9 there. And then we turn around, and in the fourth quarter, Breece has got 125, 130 yards. And we're like, wait a second. This now has to be the goal of the game. Remember this? And then we get all the way. There's like 30 seconds left, and Breece is like 18 yards away, and then they run him again, and he gets 2, and then they run him again, he gets 10, and we need like 6 yards, and there's 10 seconds left, and we got the ball, and Robert Saleh lets the clock tick down. Remember that? And it was because, and this just shows the utter and completeness of the ineptitude of this team. Robert Saleh had a guy next to him, his stats guy, his number guy, whatever the hell. I don't know what position you have to have for that to be your responsibility, but whoever's it was goes to Robert Saleh and says, he got it, because they all picked up on it. All right, well, we're going to make this game about Breece Hall getting his 1,000 yards. It wasn't last year. It had to be the year before. Man, I touched a cactus. I got a little cactus needle in my finger. You're going to see me doing that all fucking stream because, man. But anyway, it's bothering me. But because Robert Saleh didn't coach the last game last year, that was the great Jeff Ulbricht was our head coach for that one. But man, oh man. Whoever job that was said to Robert Saleh, he got it. He's got his 1,000 yards. You can walk off the field and do the victory pose and all that jazz. And man, he was 6 yards short. 6 fucking yards short. Can you believe it? So Breece Hall Let me look at his stats real quick. Brees Hall ended up getting 994 yards or whatever it was. It's ridiculous, man. Let me tell you exactly what it was here. So that's us, right? That's what we deal with. That's what we deal with around here. It's just the craziest thing. So let's see. That was 2023. Yep. 994 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns, a 4.5 yard average that year for the great Brees Hall. And he also added, so, look, he added, what is it here? Come on, receiving. He added another 591 yards on the ground. I'm sorry, in the air. So, look, he had 1,600 yards just about. He had just under 16, he had 1,585 yards, all-purpose yards. So that's great and everything. But it's about that 1,000. And it has been somewhat diminished over the years. Oh, here comes that fucking delay. I thought I fixed it. 33. Yeah, I'm good. Right? Okay, I'm all right. I'm going to open the door. Hold on a second. I'm down to opening the door for internet waves. What is this madness? But anyway, so that's just the Jets for you. It's such a capper. So he had just under 1,600 all-purpose yards, but the 1,000, even though with the 17th game and all that, it's been diminished. It's still, it's still a thing. It's still a thing, 994 yards. But that all said, that's certainly not what I was coming here to talk to you about. But the snow weather, Beefy said it, football weather, J-Man prefers the cold over the hot. Yeah, man. Season greetings, Flatbush Dre. Nice, man. Season greetings to everybody. In a couple of days, what's today, the 13th? In 2 days, I will transform from a 52-year-old man to a 53-year-old man. Isn't that something? In 2 days, I will have a birthday, the 53rd of my life. Isn't it amazing? We just keep aging. The world just keeps going around the sun and all that jazz. But I'm going to tell you guys, 53 years, 43 of them have been rooting for this team with you all, and they have given us a very, very few wonderful times. They like to give us a bunch of bullshit is what they like to give us. I don't know what this team's problem is, but here we are. So, guys, couple of things to talk about today. We talked about it yesterday a little bit, just to touch on it. The Jets heading toward, look, we're heading out of this season. We're on our way out of this season. Not as what we hoped, right? We got to see what it does for our draft. Like, at least there's that, and we know that well. I think we know that probably better than most teams, right? Better. I mean, you always got the Brownies. The Browns are a lot of the time talking about, their draft pick, the Browns fans and all that. And the Jaguars, even though they're, we're playing them this week, but they're on a different trajectory right now with their new head coach, offensive mind. And I have to admit, I was wrong about that guy. What the hell's his name? It's escaping me. Liam Cohen or Cohn. Edutain Me says, yeah, man, season's greetings to you. I like that. Season's greetings. I don't know if I've ever actually said that out loud to someone. Like, it wouldn't be what I say. I'd go, hey, Merry Christmas. Hey, Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah. I say Happy Holidays, right? But I don't know if I've ever said season's greetings, to someone. So thank you. It warms my soul. It does. Warms me. It makes me warm in this chilly day, 49 degrees in Fork Union, Virginia, where the Fork Union Military Academy resides, where such greats as Vinny Testaverde that's where he went to high school and started his football career, entering from here to the collegiate realm and to New York Jets greatness. Yeah. So season's greetings to you. But anyway, so the New York Jets we're getting out of this season, We're looking at the draft. Teams like the fans like the Browns and the Jaguars and the Panthers and the Bears and all these, the Cardinals are our buddies. The only difference between us and them is they figure out how to get that number one pick every so often. How many times have we seen the Cleveland Browns with the number one overall pick? Let's see. How many times have the Cleveland Browns had the number one overall pick? Let's see here. So the Cleveland Browns have had the number one overall draft pick 5 times. Now that's it. I thought it was a lot more than that. So we've had it a couple. So all right. Well, they had it in 1954. They took Bobby Garrett. Then Tim Couch in 1999. I remember that one. He flamed out. Tim Couch was a ballyhooed a quarterback prospect. He sucked quick. Courtney Brown, remember that one in 2000? So they had the number one pick 1999 and 2000. Myles Garrett, who's still playing, 2017, and they had it another 2 years in a row. 2018, they took Baker Mayfield, which surprised everybody. The world expected them to take Sam Darnold, even to the degree that Sam Darnold thought they were taking him. He went to the draft, if you remember, famously now, with the brown tie. Remember that? Sam Darnold showed up to the draft with a brown tie, and the Browns didn't pick him. Oh, man, was that wacky. So we're going into draft season. Season isn't what we'd hoped. I think some of us might have expected a bad season. I don't know if anybody expected 0 interceptions, right? I don't know if anybody expected, 3 wins, 2-3 wins, 0-7 or whatever we were, 0-10. And then, only 3 wins. So even the people that were, looking at a disappointing season, or I don't think anybody saw this. I'm really curious, genuinely, whether or not the Jets are able to get an interception, which will lead us to our main topic today, which we'll get to in a few minutes. I want to talk about this, but we want to just rehash quickly. The Jets re-signed, or not, yeah, I guess so, but we extended center Josh Myers, which is great. I think that's a great move. We talked about it yesterday. I don't need to belabor the point, but I think it's a great move, and it doesn't stop you from doing anything. And now one little tidbit that we can talk about today, that when I did the live stream previously yesterday, we didn't have this clarity. So I'll talk about this part of it for a minute, which is we knew it was a 2-year, $11 million contract with $6 million guaranteed. Now we really know. Now we can look at this contract essentially as a 2-year. It's $3 million a year is guaranteed money. That's what we're looking at. So if we're talking about $3 million a year, right now he's making about $2 million. You can talk about him being, it is a raise, and it's more money, and more money than I'll ever make probably. I don't know if I have a $3 million guaranteed for 2 years coming down the pike anytime soon, but not necessarily what we would call starter money. Now he can start. We've seen it all year. He has started every game so far for us. But it wouldn't pain you. The Jets wouldn't look like fools and feel like they made a major blunder if it ends up that Myers is supplanted by an upgrade. So whether that comes in the 3rd round, if the Jets are able to use a 7th or 2 and push one of our 4ths into the 3rd round, or even if we use it in 4th round, whatever it might be, if we grab a center in the draft, that's a way that he could be upgraded upon. Or maybe, just maybe, the Jets are out there in the free agent market and there's a real chance to land one of these centers, Linderbaum being up top. Let's see here. NFL free agents, 2026. So we'll take a quick peek at the centers. Let me show you guys this. How's everybody doing, man? Everybody good? Season's greetings, Edutane, and some others. Yeah, this is good. Happy birthday. Oh, Harry. I love Harry. Harry's my buddy. So let's take a look here. We got 2026, all teams, and we'll go to center. That's what we're going to look for right here. So up top, we know is as far as everybody's wish list, we got the Tyler Linderbaum Express, right? That's what we're all looking at. But here's some other guys, and let me shoot real straight. Some of these guys, I'm not necessarily keeping tabs on the center market out there, but Connor McGovern. Now, interestingly, this isn't the same Connor McGovern. We've been confusing this one for years. It is odd that two guys with the exact same name would play the exact same position, and not like a name like Smith. Like that happens. Johnson. There's a lot of Johnsons, a lot of Smiths, that kind of thing. But McGovern, Connor McGovern, there are two of them in the NFL, and two of them played center. I don't think our Connor McGovern is even in the league anymore. I'm not certain, but this one plays for Buffalo. Come on, what's going on over here? Sheesh. All right. Make it as big as we can. There you go. So Connor McGovern, he's going to be a free agent, unrestricted free agent. So right now, he's looking at a market value of $16.5 million. That's a lot. Ted Karras from the Bengals. If we're going to go get Joe Burrow, maybe you want to bring his center over, right? I hear there are problems over there with the offensive line. Now, Cade Mays is an interesting one. Ryan Bates. So there's Tyler Linderbaum. But here's what we're looking at. Luke Fortner. I got to take some time. I'm really looking forward to the offseason where we can dig into some of these guys that we might have interest in at these positions that we're looking at. So this is what we're looking at. Austin Corbett. So let's take a look at like Austin Corbett. Well, I want to look at Cade Mays. But anyway, here we are. How old are these guys? So he's 30 years old. Now let's look at Cade Mays, who I liked for a spell there. Let's take a look at Cade Mays. How's he doing, this guy? So he's 26 years old. He'll be 27 next year, it looks like. Yeah. All right. Let's see where's his can't even look at his stats. But anywho, that's how we get the idea, of what we're going on. Now let's do this. Let's do this for a second. Now I see my buddy E-Boogie's in here. I want to say hello to E-Boogie. Season's greetings, E-Boogie. This is going to be our thing now. You guys are awesome. So now that's what we're going to say. We're going to say season's greetings. So season's greetings to you, E-Boogie. He says linebacker, please. So let's take a quick look. We'll take a peek at the linebackers out there. And I gotta really touch up on my my players and who I want and who we're going to like and all that jazz. So, okay, Bobby Wagner. Look at this guy. 14 years of experience. You think they're going to let him go? You think he's going to retire? You think where he is? Demario Davis is still out there. Another one with 14 years. Can you imagine? Remember when we drafted him in the third round? Now, here's one of interest. Alex Anzalone. Anzalone. Right, Sacchetti? Hey, Alex Anzalone. So he's out there. That's one of interest. Could you imagine getting Matt Milano? How long's he been in the league? He's 30 years old, so 8 years in the league. Matt Milano is a certifiable badass, isn't he? He's really something. I got to say, that guy, he's a thumper. And that's that. When I talk about a linebacker, what I want in the draft, what I really want, guys, is Matt Milano. That's what I want for the center of our defense. Somebody that as sure of a tackler as you're going to find, right? So you're not going to be worrying too much. You're never going to be complaining about, him missing tackles like we do with our linebackers. As sure of a tackler as Jamie Sherwood has been up to this point in his career, he's joining the fray this year with everybody. It's like they're all missing tackles. But the other thing with Matt Milano and the type that I want is that he fills the hole, right? It's a very, very specific, very different than what we see around here. Now, Aaron Glenn, I just got to tell you, we got the Wilkes thing. We don't know what's going to go on next year for defense, right? And I'm going to get out of here because of my bandwidth. I don't know what, but I don't know specifically what he's going to want as far as linebackers go. Well, the weight, the height, the skill set and all that jazz. But I have a sneaking suspicion. Here's my thing. I honestly believe that Aaron Glenn is not cut from the same cloth as Robert Saleh, who liked his linebackers to be hybrid, that safety size, that 215 to 225. I am hoping, and I believe at this point, that Aaron Glenn is going to want a little bit bigger of a linebacker, the 235 and up brand. And the type of defense that we want, especially for the linebackers, is you want somebody that is not waiting for the, kind of holding their space and waiting, the breaking down. You want somebody that can identify the play and do their job. So whether it's sometimes the linebacker's job is to take on that first blocker. So for example, you got a pulling guard and a fullback coming through the hole. And the linebacker, what does he want to do? He wants to get to the ball carrier and he wants to take him down. But you can't always do that. You have to commit immediately and you got to take on the guard. That's what you got to do. And you got to run to that hole and blast that fucking guard's lights out. That's what you got to do. You got to remove him from the play so the guy coming behind you on your defense can now take on either the fullback or if he has a lane to the running back. That's what you want, right? And when these linebackers, and we see it all the time on the Jets the last bunch of years, what they'll do with the lead blocker is they'll try to sidestep them. So what that does is effectively, it still puts you out of the play because that split second, we know football is a game of inches and seconds. That split second that you're now outside of the line that the guard is coming at, you're sidestepping, you've taken yourself out of the play, and he's still free to take on the guy coming in behind you to backfill. And it's bullshit. And we see it too much. I see it all the time, and I can't stand it. So you want somebody that's going to come in and wallop that first guy. So anyway, there's going to be guys in free agency. I am excited to see what the Jets' plan is at positions like linebacker. We have a lot of positions that we're going to let guys go, and we're going to cut some guys. The good news is we have a ton of expiring contracts, and that's going to bode well for our comp pick formula. Don't forget, guys, the Jets got 4 comp picks this year, which is new. So good for Darren Muji. Good for Darren Muji. You want to capitalize on the comp pick situation, right? The allowable draft picks. I mean, guys, it is the best teams do it. The best at it used to be Bill Belichick and the Patriots. Every single year they were getting 4 comp picks, a lot of the time as high as thirds. There have been times where the Patriots have had 2 additional thirds and 2 2/3, a fourth, and a fifth. Think about that for free. So you want to take advantage of that. We did it this year. Now, granted, the highest one we have, I believe, is a fourth. We got 1 fourth and then 7ths. That's great. I'll take it. Those 7ths can be used to move up and everything. You could take players if you want when you're there. I love 7th round picks. But what you should do is you should be using those 7ths, those 6ths and 7ths to move up in the draft. Take your 4ths and jump up 20 picks, or, take your 4th and make it a 3rd, take your 3rd and make it a 2nd, and all that stuff, even though we don't have a 3rd this year. Bradford, what's up, buddy? Says, our linebackers are smaller than college guys. Well, they're safeties, right? That's what they are. I mean, not what's his name? Quincy wasn't a safety, but that was Salah's technique. And Jamie Sherwood is a converted safety to linebacker. And look, Sherwood he's a good football player. I don't know if he meshes well with this defense. And he's had his games. He's not a complete waste of space. But I think what we should be doing is playing a lot more base. We should be a traditional 4-3. And Jamie Sherwood should likely be the weak side linebacker, the will. That's what I would like to see. I think if that's the case, I think we'll see him kind of settle in and be an asset for the defense. He's essentially the Mike, and he's responsible for calling the defense. And I think it's too much for him. That's what I think, especially in a new defense. But anywho, what's this? Good guy Greg says, can trade both fourth to get into the third. Totally. Don't get me wrong, though, Greg. We got to be careful. Fourth round picks are delicious. I love fourth round picks. I love the seconds and I love the fourths in particular. Why? Because they're the beginning of a whole new draft. You know what I mean by that? So you have the first round. The first round is what it is. It's its own bag of tricks. The first round, the premium. It's where all the big moves, the big names, all that stuff. But then you go to bed. You go to bed and you wake up the next day and there's a whole new draft. It starts with the second round. And the teams that are at the front of that, you have another. I look at it, the way I look at it is it's an entire draft in and of itself. You got the first round, that's a draft. You got the second and third, that's a draft. And then you go to bed again, Greg, and you wake up and the fourth round is another. I look at it as a first round. So that's why when these organizations, and we've had them here, that look at the fourth, fifth, sixth round picks as like kind of throwaway-ish. You don't see it so much with the fourth, but we've definitely seen it with the fifth and sixth. I hate it. But the fourth round, to me, is another first round. You go to bed, you wake up, and here we go. We got the draft. You got 3 more rounds of football. That's how I look at it. So when you have that fourth round pick, you get to look at the first 3 rounds. You get to settle down and go, okay, all these players are gone. What were we able to do? Now, the Jets, we don't know what's going on with trades and all that shit. We got to see where we land. But as it stands right now, when we open the door to the fourth, the fourth round, when we open the door, when the bell goes off and the fourth round starts, the Jets will have had, as it stands now, 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks. That's a lot of goodies. So what were we able to do in those first rounds? 4 picks. We're getting 4 players if it stands that way. You open up the fourth round. Let me see something here. Let me see how many picks we have. I don't trust Draft Tech right now, so let me see what we got here. Draft Tech hasn't caught up. All right, hold. Let me see what we got here. AI is generating something. So here we go. Right now, oh, so bad. AI, I don't know what I want. All right, so here's what it looks like. The Jets have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 0 thirds. We only have 1 fourth. I thought we still had 2. We have 2 fifths, 2 sixths. This can't be right. This is bullshit. I got to go back to Old Faithful here. Hold on. You guys this is crazy. Let me see if they got it right. Top Cat, Warless. Saturday content. Squeeze those milk dunks. There you go. Forgot to put up the banner for you guys. There you go. Boom. All right. So, okay, New York Jets. Let's see if this is right. We have 1, 2 firsts, 1, 2 seconds. That's 4. We only have 1 fourth. That's 5. We have 1 fifth. That's 6. We have 1 sixth left because we've been moving sixths like they're going out of style, right? Got all kinds of fun shit with the sixths. And then we have 2 sevenths. Wait, so 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 picks it says we have. I don't think this is accurate either. Let me see something here. New York Jets draft picks. This is annoying. I like to be able to rely on draft tech, but it's not doing it. Over the cap. Let's see what they got for us. I don't know. I don't trust anybody right now. All right, we'll get off that for a minute. So the point being, the 4th round is delicious. I love the 4th round. Yeah, so the comp picks, right, Tony, that's what I'm saying. So let me see something here. Let me see. Teams, positions, snap counts. Wait. Okay. So the New York Jets. Yeah, so the New York Jets got 4 comp picks this year from our last year's free agency and all that stuff. So we got a 5th for Morgan Moses. We got a 7th for Brandon Eccles. We got a 7th for Solomon Thomas. And we got a 7th for Tyler Conklin. That's the way it goes. So we got 4 picks. Now, the way that it worked is we had Javon Kinlaw sign a much, much bigger contract than we thought he was going to be able to get out there. That would have garnered us a 5th round pick. We signed Brandon Stevens, and that took that one away. We lost DJ Reed. He signed a contract with the Detroit Lions. We signed Andre Sisco, so he's going to be gone. We'll never see Andre Sisco again. Isn't that wonderful to know that? Which is great with these 1-year flyers. So, like, you look at this. We took a flyer on Andre Sisco, and he's gone. 1 year, we're not going to re-sign him. But on the other end of it, it can work out. Josh Myers was a 1 year. So that's why you do this. You go, all right, well, some of these will stick and some of these won't. Andre Sisco, good flyer, definitely made sense to do it. Truth is, I had more hope for him than I did for Brandon Stevens. Didn't work out. So he's gone, but Josh Myers is staying, so it's wonderful. So we lost Hassan Reddick in free agency, right? He signed a contract down there with the Bucks. And we signed Justin Fields. That would have garnered us a 5th. But Justin Fields, signing him, washed that away. Then we lost. These guys that we also lost. Ashton Davis, but he didn't count. And then we got Josh Myers and Chris Boyd as well. So look, Postman checking in. So here's what he goes. So according to Tankathon, the Jets have... See, it's 2 firsts. All right, so you put 1 there, but 2 firsts and seconds, 1 fourth, 1 fifth, 3 sixths, and 5 sevenths. See, that's what I mean. Like, and then draft tech is totally the opposite. We definitely used some of our 6ths and 7ths and all that, but like, look at the Michael Carter II trade. We gave a 7th. And we got a 6th, so essentially what you're doing there is you're just moving your pick up around, which makes sense. Yeah, I saw it. So yeah, all right. Pure Adrenaline Sports, great channel out there if you guys want to support him as well. He says, let me try it again. 2 firsts, 2 seconds, 1 fourth, 1 fifth, 3 sixths, 5/7. See, I don't know if that's accurate, man. Tankathon's usually pretty good. They update fast too, so you want to believe. But up until this point, Draft Tech for me has been incredibly accurate. Like I've been using them for 10 years, maybe not that long. But let's call it 5 or 6. 5 or 6 years. Top Cat Warless thinks Cook is going to ball out, and I don't like it. Think about this, guys. Postman, everybody else. You see how we get? You see we're nuts. You have an undrafted free agent rookie that because we want the tank is going to come in. I mean, he came in last week, and that was a tough situation, but no matter how you slice it, 2 fumbles, 2 end zone picks, and 6 sacks. Not, I don't know. No matter how you slice it, not good. Now, I thought he had some beautiful throws. Truth be told, the one to Mechie was the one that he dropped, walk-in touchdown, perfect placement, perfect touch, perfect everything. It was placed right in this breadbasket. Beautiful. The one to A.D. Mitchell down the sideline, gorgeous. But there was some clams in there too, man. All right? So let's not get nuts. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to watch, right? And like I told you guys, I'm ready to root for whatever. I'm not getting all jammed up. If we blow it, I'm not getting jammed up. I'm not. I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best not to get jammed up because, guys, there is a realistic path to the first round, to the first overall pick. It's still there. All we got to do is lose out. It's the only thing that we can do. The Giants win 1. The Raiders win 1. Everybody's just got to win 1 game. And they're all playing each other and shit. The Titans got to beat the Saints and Cam Ward and all that. If the Titans can beat the Saints and I looked at it last week. I got to go back and go and see it. I got to see all the matchups so I can tell you. But if they win 1 game and we lose out, the Giants win 1, the Raiders win 1, the Browns win 1, the Saints win 1, the Titans win 1. That happens. We got the number 1 pick. We got 4 games. They just got to win 1. So again, I'm not counting on it necessarily, but it can happen, man. It's not, I'll tell you what, it's much more realistic than the fucking playoffs. I'll tell you that. Oh, man. So Tony says, what's up, Tony, by the way? Good to see you, man. If you pull up over the cap, you will see the Jets have 30 players plus Briggs on their 26 roster, which is such good news. Such good news. Because a lot of those players, Tony, and everybody else, they're going to count into the comp pick formula for next year. And if we get ahead, now we're going to be signing, we have to sign a lot of players too. So, you nullify that a lot of time. But what we have to slowly do, and having this many firsts and seconds and all that shit is going to help with, depending, look, we don't know what we got to do at quarterback. If we have the number 1 overall pick, guys, holy shit, is it on like Donkey Kong. If we land this number 1 overall pick, it is on like Donkey Kong. If we don't need to give up anything and we get the first overall pick, so we're able to just grab Mendoza and then have pick whatever, we'll see what Phillip Rivers does, which is crazy. I can't wait to watch that. We're going to stay live. Jeremy and I are going to stay live and watch that game together with you guys. So that's going to be fun, at least the first half or something. So if you don't have to give up any firsts, any seconds or anything, and you just get Mendoza, so we get Mendoza, then you got pick 13, 15, whatever the hell it ends up being. You can grab wide receiver or a linebacker. Then you go into the second round. You got the first overall second round pick. Woo! Come on now. See, that's what I like, man. Like I just told you guys, you got the first round. That's 1 whole draft in my mind. That's how I carve it out in my thinking. I'm very visual. So I see it as one draft. Then you go to bed, you wake up the next day, the Jets got the first overall pick again. Then you go to bed, the Jets got the first overall pick again. Oh, and by the way, we're doing a live draft party in Hoboken this year, talking Jets. It is going to be a blast, man. It's going to be a blast. So, but my point, Tony, is that when you have 30, you have 23 spots to fill on your roster, that two things. One is it gives you that opportunity to flip, right? It's like when you're working at in my position, I would be the director of a rehab. So I would take over this rehab. And then sometimes, like, you learn the staff, you see what's going on, who's good, who's not, who's a problem, who's an asshole, who shows up late, who doesn't do anything, who's really good. And then sometimes, and what I had to do in my last spot, I flipped 90% of my staff. 90. So there was like 5 people, 6 out of, 40 that I kept. I had to flip the whole house. So what this does is it gives us the opportunity to flip the house, which is good. You looked around, you saw what you had. You gave everybody a shot. Xavier Gibson, right? We're like, don't fucking keep this guy. He sucks. And Michael Clemens, Aaron Glenn said, all right, well, let me see. Let me see what I can do with these guys. He's got talent. He's fast and everything. Let me see. Game 1, he lost us the game. He says, okay, enough. Enough of this guy. And he gets rid of him. So most of the time, though, you're going to give these guys more than one game. Xavier Gibson was so extreme that we got rid of him. But you get the opportunity to see these guys, how they respond to coaching. What can I do with them? Are they able to be, can I develop them? Are they improving? Are they buying in? Some guys, can I shake the quit out of them? Some guys, you just know when the going gets tough, they pack it in. I don't want them here. So this gives us the opportunity that almost half the team, you're not locked into them. And we see like Jamie and Sherwood, we gave him that contract. We're locked in. Michael Carter was another one. They were able to flip him. Like, we didn't get the greatest return on Michael Carter, but the thing is, you got a wide receiver with crazy talent, so you get to evaluate him for almost half the season, and then you moved up around, and then, but most importantly, what you did was you got rid of that contract. You're not locked into him anymore. You realized, you identified, this player is not going to work for what I'm doing. So that's the thing. You get to flip the house. But while you're flipping the house, Tony, and you know this, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, I'm just carving it out for us, is that you get the opportunity, and in kind of a large scale, it's like you don't see this all the time, this big of a flip, that you can really recreate the team in your image. You gave them all a year. You did the whole thing I was just talking about. But what you're really doing now is you go, okay, let's sit down. I have 23 open spots. I'd like to re-sign this guy, Josh Myers. Good, get him in here. I'm sure they're meeting with a few others. They're probably meeting with Breece Hall's team. We want to make sure Breece doesn't hit free agency. Give him the $12 million, man, for 3 years. Keep Breece here, unless he really doesn't want to be here, like a DJ Reed kind of a thing. You got to blow his doors off. Like, you can't give him $20 million a year. You can't do that. Like, if he says something like, look, man, I really don't want to play here, and, it would take $20 million for me to stay. Like, you can't do it, then, hey, good luck, So, look, not every time. Like, there are players that are good football players, but they might not be right for what you're doing, right? So guys like a Sherwood, who I'm a fan of, I mean, I'm right with everybody. I see the same things everybody else is seeing. He's been struggling, man. He's had his games. I think his best 2 games were right after he was benched, which I really like. I like that Aaron Glenn did it, and I like the response. Quincy, too. Quincy had without question, his best game after he was benched. He was flying around like a maniac. Right after Q, his brother was traded, right? So the thing is that if you have a guy like Sherwood, even though he's not having the best season, there's value out there. So if you determine like one of two things, all right, Sherwood, we're gonna revamp our linebacking core. We're letting Quincy walk. We're gonna let him walk. He's gonna factor into the comp pick formula because he's a all pro and all that kind of stuff. He'll get a contract. There's no doubt about it. Quincy is a good player. So he's going to get a contract. And you look at Sherwood, you're locked into his contract. So you go, okay, we're going to revamp our linebacking core. We're going to bring in a new Mike. We're going to bring in a new Sam. We got Kiko developing, all that. But we're going to go premium. We're going to get a linebacker with one of our first 4 picks. Maybe even the first round, depending on how it plays out. So you're going to bring in new linebackers, but we're going to keep Jamie and Sherwood. We're going to push him over to the will, and we're going to let him fly around. We're going to let him do what he's got to do. We're going to simplify his position for him, and we're not going to. He's no longer going to have the responsibilities that we put on him this year. We don't feel like he can handle it, and we think he's going to succeed that way because he is a good player. Great, that's one option. Or you can determine that he's really not a fit, and you can start shopping him. Now, you might not get premium assets for him, right? His contract isn't crazy. It's a solid linebacker contract. It's a, you know what I mean? It's good money, but it's not something it's not a ridiculous Mike McCagnon contract. So you can call the Robert Salas of the world, the 49ers. You can call Jeff Ulbricht and those guys down there, and maybe some other teams. And you could say, look, we're willing to get rid of Sherwood. Give us, whatever, a 6th round pick. And the 6th, it has value, of course, but you're really and you maybe even get more. I don't know, but let's just look at it like that. It's not so much about the pick. It's about the moving the money. It's about getting that money off your books so you're now free to reallocate those resources into another player, which is great. Now, you don't want to cut him because then there's the dead cap and all that kind of stuff, and you don't get anything for players when in the comp pick formula when you cut them. You know what I mean? Jelly bean? So there you go. We'll take this. We're going to get to the main subject here in a second. I know we got sucked into draft awesomeness, and I'm going to do that. I want to talk about the main subject of this stream here. But first, I want to remind you about the amazing sponsor that we have, the Sportsbook, the fantasy app with the most stats out there, period. The one and only Sleeper, where you can turn game day into payday, turn your football knowledge with everybody in this chat. Man, oh man, are you guys top of the heap when it comes to football knowledge? Take advantage of this amazing offer that they have on the Sleeper app. Once you download it, let me get the banner off. Once you download it, one of the first things you're going to see is you are going to see offer $20 right there. You can take advantage of that. No deposit needed, and that'll give you the ability to actually play the games on the Sleeper app. What you do, you pick your sport, you pick the game, you click on it, and all the options open up. Is Breece Hall? We picked the Jets Jaguars. Is Breece going to get over 80 yards? Is A.D. Mitchell going to get more than 3 catches? They put it there. They say 3 catches. You say more or less. The more you do, the higher your odds go, and as far as what you can turn that money into. You put the $20 down and you turn it into some real money. Once you realize how easy it is to do it, use the promo code GreenBean when you're making your first deposit to get a 100% match up to $100. 2 amazing offers from an amazing app, Sleeper. Terms and conditions apply. The link is right in the description of this video to make it even easier for you. Thank you to Sleeper for hanging out with us. Boy, oh boy, do we love them. So let's talk about Aaron Glenn. I just had it queued up. Man, I deleted it, I think. Wait, hold on a second. Shit, I closed it out when I was trying to save my bandwidth. All right, let me get. So, Aaron Glenn, as you know, is our head coach, right? You guys know this. He wasn't the head coach some of us wanted, but he was the head coach that all of us got, right? That's what we know. So Aaron Glenn in his press conference had a huge announcement that I want to talk about with you guys. Let's open it up. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll listen a little bit to what Aaron Glenn had to say in his press conference on December 12th, which was yesterday. Here we go. You ready? All right. Here he comes. Any second. Here he comes.
Good morning.
Here's the announcement.
Hey, it's a small group in here today because before I get into these injuries, I think it's a huge announcement that you guys should hear. At 53 years old, I'll be making a comeback, and I'll be getting ready to play in a couple of weeks against Diggs and against Shakir Buffalo. So.
In 2008 that you played against Phil Rivers.
Yeah, I did. I think is outstanding. But anyway, let me get.
And then right to business. So Aaron Glenn is coming out of retirement, everybody. One of the greatest quarterbacks that we've ever had in the Jets uniform. I really think it really does go like this. It goes Darrelle Revis, Aaron Glenn, Antonio Cromartie-ish, James Hasty. That's the top four. I don't know who the fifth would be. Mike Brim, Tony Stargell, remember? But it goes. Aaron Glenn is either the second or third best cornerback that we've ever had in the Jets uniform. He was stellar for us. And it would be exciting. I'll tell you what. Obviously, this isn't real, but it does two things, just to fantasize a little bit. And then I'll get to I see a couple super chats, Big Green and Wyatt. I'll get to you guys in just a moment. Obviously, it's a joke, but to fantasize for just a moment, I would be willing to bet if Aaron Glenn did put on 53 years old, if Aaron Glenn put on a uniform today and played for us for the next 4 games, I'd be willing to bet on the Sleeper app that he'd get an interception. You guys think? What do you think? I'm going to make a poll. We're going to see. Let me see something. All right, here. I think he would. I don't know what it is about our fucking defense. And you saw it last week. The NFL gods tried to give us an interception. And I want you to answer seriously. I know he's 53 years old. I'm telling you, I believe it. If AG went on the field and played cornerback for us, running around, slow as shit, he has, they have the nose for the ball. He would know, he would do it, he would get a pick. I'm telling you. He would do it. Let me know what you guys think. Big Green checking in, one of my buds who, when I was on the road, I don't know if you guys know this, when I was on the road in the RV, when I was in upstate New York, Big G's, what the fuck is on? In Big Green's neighborhood, we met up. We carved out some time and we went and hung out at a gas station. Remember, man, in the parking lot for like an hour or so. We just shot the shit. It was great. It was really great meeting you. He says, I think we make a trade down this year and stack up on defense and wide receiver and get our quarterback next year. What do you think? See, this is an interesting one because, all right, while it is an outside shot, and I know I'm pushing this narrative of it's getting chilly in here, everybody. Let me get my hat on. Let me get my hat on in Boston. I know it's an outside shot, and I'm pushing this kind of this idea, and I figure why not until it's impossible that the Jets are going to get the number 1 overall pick. I think look, it's an outside chance, but it's there. It's not that crazy when you look at how razor thin the margins really are. The margins, I say. When you look at the margins, how razor thin. What the fuck is this? Hold on. Why is this thing hanging out? Get out of here. I'm trying to shut stuff down so I make sure I got as much bandwidth as I can. So I'll share this with you, Big G. Big G. All right. Look how razor thin this really is. All right. So Beefy and Top Cat, take a look. Okay. Here we are. The Giants are at 2-11 at pick 1. They are pick 1 at 2-11. All the way down to pick 9. There is a 1-game differential. 1 game. So when we play this week, all these teams are playing. This can get shuffled so dramatically in 1 week because it is razor thin. And once you start, so that's the number 1 differentiator from where you're picking 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, right? That's number 1. What we fall to right after that is strength of schedule. So you look right here, that's what this column is right here, this one. See it? Where's my cursor? Right? So this one. Come on. There we go. No, it doesn't work. So right here, strength of schedule. So that column, everybody, that's where we got to look. So when the Giants win 1, they go to 3-11, and the Jets lose, we're 3-11. So the Raiders win 1, they go to 3-11, and the Jets lose, we go to 3-11, right? So here we are. The Jets' strength of schedule is a 0.54. Right? So when you start looking at if that all happens, so if Tennessee wins, if the Raiders win, if the Browns win, it doesn't even need to win. The Jets being at 5-4, instantly we jump the Raiders, the Titans, the Saints, right? Just like that. We jump up 3 spots, just like that. If those teams win, I know it's hard, right? The Tennessee Titans suck, but they didn't look like they sucked last week. They looked like they might be putting a couple pieces together, and Cam Ward just might want to cap this season with a little something. So you have these young quarterbacks. Here we are. 3 teams in this mix have young quarterbacks who are trying to make a little noise. That's the Raiders. No, I'm sorry. That's the Tennessee Titans with Cam Ward, the Cleveland Browns with Shedeur Sanders, the New Orleans Saints with Tyler Shock. So all 3 of them, guys, they want to win. Trust me when I tell you. And like we've talked about 100 million times, if we've ever said it, there's not a single coach or quarterback or linebacker or wide receiver or tight end or strong safety. There's not a single one of them that are trying to lose because of a draft pick. Not one. Now, the organization might want to do that. They might. And the way for the organization to tank is to pull players that would give you a chance to win. We saw it in 2021 with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The second the Jets beat the Rams, dude, they benched everybody. Gardner Minshew, who was their starting quarterback at the time, he sat. They sat him. Why? Because he's going to go out there and ruin this. They wanted Trevor Lawrence. The Jets, Adam Gase was getting fired. They all knew that. Dude, Adam Gase didn't give a shit. He wasn't going to coach to lose for us. So the interesting thing is, so this is where it gets crazy. And then don't forget to answer the poll on whether or not you think Aaron Glenn would get us an interception if he played the last 4 games of the season. So here's what's interesting. The Giants likely have their quarterback, right? Likely. There's no guarantee, because I'll tell you what, if I was the Giants, I'd be a little bit concerned with his playing style and how he's getting hurt already. I would already be like, I would already be going, I don't know. I don't know, man. Just saying. So, but likely the Giants have their quarterback. The Las Vegas Raiders do not. But here's an interesting thing with them. Getting rid of Chip Kelly and all that kind of stuff. Geno Smith. Dude, Geno Smith was on the Jets. He won his last game of the season for us. Remember, he had his best game of his career up to that point. Last game of the season in Miami. I was at that game. I watched it. I watched Geno Smith have the best game of his fucking career and ruin our draft spot. Chip Kelly's gone. They're settling in. Maybe, just maybe, the Las Vegas Raiders decide to win a couple games. The Tennessee Titans, but likely they're in the quarterback market. The Tennessee Titans are not. They have Cam Ward. The only thing I could see there is if they wanted to get rid of Cam Ward, but it's the same GM. That was his rookie year as a GM. It was his first ever draft pick. I doubt highly that the GM is going to already in year 2 admit to everybody, oh, I made a huge mistake. I just don't think it's happening. So out of the top 3 teams, 2 of them don't need a quarterback. Likely. Can't say finite or I'm sorry, definitively about anything. But likely they don't need their quarterback. Then you get to the Browns. The Browns we all thought were in the quarterback market, right? Up until very recently, we all thought they were in the quarterback market. But here's the reality now. Shedeur Sanders, and maybe the way that the season went was the right way for it to go for him. Maybe get a little, number one, he gets time sitting. There's the stress and pressure of being the starting quarterback and all that. That wasn't present. He just sat there and watched everybody suck. So that's positive. But their quarterback situation is you got a young and really looking talented Shedeur Sanders, confident, brimming with confidence, cockiness, if you will, almost. And then they have Deshaun Watson as the backup. And you got the other kid, Dylan Gabriel, as your third. They could be seen as somebody locked at quarterback. So we're not 100%. I'm sure it's going to depend on how Shedeur Sanders plays these final games. But shit, number one, if he's playing well and he wins a game or 2, that's going to help us. But they might not be in the quarterback market either. The same thing applies to the New Orleans Saints. Like, guys, here's the thing. We're hearing all the stuff we're hearing about this quarterback class, right? It's Mendoza, Moore, Smith. Those are the guys up top. 2 of them might not even be coming out. But even if they do, there's not a lot of love for right? There's a lot of question marks about these guys. I think Mendoza is the surest bet by everybody's estimation. But if you're looking at a team like the Saints or the Browns, and they have a young quarterback who's just coming around the mountain and starting to play a little bit, starting to get it together, starting to put 2 and 2 together here, and they're starting to play well. In a quarterback class that's not necessarily all that, robust, wouldn't it make more sense for a team like the Browns? They just used 2 draft picks last year on quarterbacks. You got Shedeur Sanders playing well. You have, let's say they're at 4. You're at pick 4. Are they more likely to trade up to try to get a quarterback? Or in a quarterback class, they're not necessarily better than Shedeur Sanders, right? Who, coming into the draft last year, was looked at as QB2. We thought he was going to be the 2nd overall pick. So are they going to take the risk, use a top 5 pick on another quarterback to start this whole rigmarole over? Or would they be more likely to grab Carnell Tate and give Shedeur Sanders somebody to play with? And the same thing applies to the Saints. Now, if they really love a quarterback, that's one thing. But likely, they're not even going to be the number 1 overall pick. It's possible, the same way we are. But you're looking at a team that's going to have to give up assets to take a swing on a guy who's, you don't even know if he's a better swing than the swing you're already taking with a guy who's been in your system and you're building for a year. So wouldn't they be more likely to use that asset on somebody to support the young guy that they have rather than starting over? Now, let's say Shedeur shits the bed and the next 4 games, he throws 8 interceptions and, 2 pick sixes. And all right, different story. Like, all right, this guy ain't going to do it. They could make that decision. But really, and then look, you go down the line, Washington doesn't need a quarterback. Arizona needs a quarterback. So out of these top, and the Bengals, right? They got a quarterback. We don't know what's happening with the Burrow trade bullshit, but that, So out of these top 9 teams, guys, look at the reality of it all. The reality is there is a very significant chance that only 2 or 3 of these teams even want a quarterback. Now, maybe if it falls to them or whatever, but as far as being competition to go up and get that pick, if you're talking about the Jets being, because we're going to likely lose out. I mean, Brady Cook, if he balls out, all right, wonderful. But I don't see it. I could be wrong. Totally. I'm going to be there with you. We'll watch it together and we'll see. But I don't see it. So the Jets up here in the top 3, okay? Top 3 or 4. So we're sitting, let's go worse. So we're sitting at pick 4. You want to trade up with the Giants. Let's assume they're there. And nobody else is calling. This idea that you got to give up 3 firsts and all this shit. You just tell the Giants, hey man, look, I know nobody else is calling. I've talked to everybody too. I know I picked up my vibes. I think I'm the only one calling you. Here's what I'm willing to give you. I'm willing to give you a second this year and a second next year or something like that. That's it. Then you can do what BG's talking about here. And you go, all right, so I gave a second. So now I'm at pick 1. I still have pick 13, 14 from the Colts. Whatever it is. And I got my other second round pick. So I'm stacked. I'm getting Fernando Mendoza. I got another first and a second. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take that first. Somebody wants to jump up and I'm going back fucking 6 spots and I'm getting my second back. Something like that. Whatever. You see what I mean? Other than that, Big Green, I don't know if I see a trade back. I think the Jets are wanting to bring in premium talent, and we happen to have 5 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. We got premium picks. We got them coming out of our ears. So thanks, BG. Tony says Saints are trading out. Titans are either trading down or trading Ward. Giants would trade down. Yeah, I don't. So look, the Titans, I would like to jump them, and I think we can, but they're not in the quarterback market. I'm telling you, I don't see. I'm telling you, it all depends on what happens. But Tyler Shock, Shador Sanders, dude, if they continue to play well, they're out of the quarterback market. Now, if a quarterback falls to them, that's one thing. But as far as being competition to trade up, I don't see it. All right, let me get to my boy Wyatt here. Wyatt checking in. We did awesome with that Sauce trade. Dude, we really did. And look, we don't know what's going to happen with Phillip Rivers. It is as interesting as anything else going on in the NFL. I'll tell you. Are you not fucking interested? I'm interested in that one. I'm interested, everybody. They got me. But realistically speaking, it should take them a minute to get, to get into playing shape here. But I don't know. Phillip Rivers was a badass. He was a badass. So I don't know. Isn't it crazy? It's like the Jets, and you got to remember, there's a connection there. He played for the Colts at the end. So, but still, like the Jets, we can't do anything. We can't fucking figure. And the Colts, they get somebody, they go to the scrap heap. First of all, they had the number one pick, they got Peyton Manning. Then the 1 year he gets hurt, they get the number one pick, they get Andrew Luck. Right? Then they trade for Phillip Rivers. Then they go to the scrap heap and they get Daniel Jones, and he plays like a fucking all-pro. And then he gets hurt, and they go, oh, Phillip Rivers, come on in. It's like, and then here we are, holding our junk on the side of the dance floor. Oh, nobody ever, like, what? We can't figure out how to get, we can't do anything. Isn't it crazy? But I agree, Wyatt. And the A.D. Mitchell part of that trade, it's the one thing we can look at right now. We have no idea what the picks are going to be, but A.D. Mitchell, man, I just could not be happier with that piece of the trade. It's amazing. It's amazing that Darren Muji being able to get 2 first-round picks for a cornerback is good enough, man. It's very similar to the Jamal Adams thing. Like, I know Jets fans were all in love with Jamal and everything, and they look, and even though his act was, it was wearing on me. I didn't love the Jamal Adams thing, and I hated that he just could not catch, right? Same thing like with Sauce. I hated it. Like, as a defensive back, I have very little patience and tolerance for a defensive back that can't catch. It's one thing for Sauce to shut down a wide receiver and not get thrown to. Totally fine with that. Totally fine. Like, only getting 2 targets a game, that's a badass job. That's good. That's fine. I'm fine with that. But when the ball's hitting your hands or getting lobbed up and you're covering your guy, dude, you have to think, you have to have a mentality that ball's mine. I have just as much right to that ball as the wide receiver, and I'm taking it. And like for Jamal Adams, the ball would hit him right in his hands. How many times, guys, right? How many times? Hits him in the face. There are examples of Jamal Adams, the ball getting thrown and making it past his hands and hitting him in the face. And didn't care. So anyway, I know we all loved him and all that shit, and I did too. I thought he was a fiery badass and all that kind of stuff, which I liked. Obviously, very, very good tackler. Like, I liked it. But his act was getting tired. But even that, getting 2 first-round picks and then I think it was a swap of thirds, like a fourth. We gave them a fourth and they got a third, and we gave them a fourth and they gave us a third, and we got a player. Like to get that for a strong safety, not even a free safety. A free safety that's like a ball magnet, that's one thing. Still, but to get 2 firsts, that package for that is amazing. And the same thing applies. To get 2 first-round picks for a guy who does not create turnovers is already really, really good. But to insist that you also give us the wide receiver you took in the 2nd round last year is fucking amazing. And if we had a really good quarterback, you would see A.D. Mitchell even more. We're already seeing the talent. He's open all the time. He had the drops that, that first game, and we gotta see, but I don't think there's any denying he's a talented kid. And he's not a guy you want as like your primary wide receiver. But as far as like being wide receiver 3, like, that in 11 personnel, he's on the field, which most teams are running 11 more than every other package. So, if you're running 60%, and that's even low, but let's anywhere 70%, 11 personnel, he's on the field. Like that's what you want. Garrett Wilson, A.D. Mitchell, and whoever else we get, dude, that's badass. So I agree with you. Tony Alexio, damn well that I was thinking of you. When we re-signed, we went out to San Francisco and pulled them back. When we got Adrian Martinez back here, the first person I thought of was Tony Alexio. The Martinez package is back. Now, let me tell you, obviously, there's more to watch with Brady Cook because of development and, just the chance that he can be, develop into something and be a backup for you. And who knows? Dude, Jeff Blake at one point. Jeff Blake was a 6th round pick, I think it was. And he was just sitting on as our QB3 for a number of years. And nobody thought much about him. He was just sitting here. He'd get in. He'd throw, here and there. He'd do a little bit. Nothing doing. He was just a kid, sitting on as QB3 on the New York Jets for a number of years. And then what happens? We cut him. He goes to Cincinnati, and he was like the best quarterback that they had, and since Boomer. It was crazy. He's throwing the fucking Carl Pickens down there. It's like crazy. Remember? Jeff Blake lit up the NFL. So you'd never know. I mean, dude, the kid did play in the SEC. It's not like, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not, you guys know, I'm not a Brady Cook guy. I'm really not. But he was a starter on a on an SEC team for 3 years. So there's some meat there. So there's more to watch with Brady Cook. But I'm going to tell you, there's something about Adrian Martinez. I would love to see him running around right now just to make the season fun. But I am rooting for losses, even though I'm not on aggressively on the tankster side. I am hoping that we just lose out. Like, it doesn't make any sense for me to win. I get it. If they do, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be rooting and all that shit. But losing out, dude, there is a chance we get that number 1 overall pick. I want it. I want it if we can get it. So, Tony, congrats, my friend. We'll see if we get to see him at all or anything. But I thought of you, buddy. I really did. The first person I thought of. This is a great comment. This really is. And this would shuffle things. It really would. Top Cat Warless. If they fire Stefanski, are they going to keep Shador? Because that's a whole different thing. Right? That changes things. Let me see something here. Let me see. So I will add this though. If they fire Stefanski, which would generally mean that his whole coaching staff is gone, that they're going to go out and bring in a new coach. By and large, that would be an opportunity for the next regime to pick their quarterback, especially if you have a top 5 pick. But then the next guy coming in, though, too, Top Cat, could be thinking the same thing I was talking about. Like, look, we got a young quarterback. I'm coming to this team. I want to coach Shedeur Sanders. I got Deshaun Watson as the backup, and I got Dylan Gabriel, who I can work with as well. I think the quarterback room's strong. You know what I mean? Why not? I mean, dude, if Shedeur Sanders is lighting it up, why not? All right. Let's look at Shedeur Sanders' stats. So, let me see something here. So, Shedeur Sanders came in. He's played the last 4 weeks. They have 1 win. But this is what really 3 weeks. So let's call it 3 weeks. So he came in that first week and he played against the Raiders and they won. So he was 11 for 20, 55% completion percentage, not that great. 209 yards with a touchdown and an interception, but that's game 1, right? That's his first time ever coming in. So then he plays. Let me see here. Hold on. All right. So then he plays the Niners. And he loses that game. They only score 8 points. He's 16 for 25, 64% completion percentage, and he throws for $150 with 1 touchdown and 0 interceptions. But then he plays against the Titans, and this is last week. Crazy game. 29 points. He scores 29 points, right? Or the Cleveland's offense. So they lose to the Titans in a crazy game, 31-29. And didn't it have like the 2-point conversion thing or whatever was going on? I forget. But he throws for 364 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Now, his completion percentage was on the lower side, 54.8%. But 364 yards and 3 touchdowns is nothing to overlook. So now going into their next game, which is what? What's their next game over here? So they're playing the Bears. Then they're playing the Bills. Then they're playing the Steelers and then the Bengals. So that's a tough schedule. Let's shoot straight. That's a tough schedule. But if Shedeur Sanders looks good and can win 1, 2 of those, let's say he comes in this week and they take the Bears by surprise a little bit, lump them up. It's a tough game up there in the North, the Midwest, right? But let's say they win, they surprise and beat the Bears, and then maybe they beat the Bengals on the way out. And Shedeur's throwing for 250, 300. He's looking good, looking like he's turning into something. Why wouldn't a young coach want to come in here and coach him? Good a shot as anybody. Right? Harry checking in with his Stream Beaner membership super chat. Thank you for all the love and support, Harry. You're one of my faves. You know that. 32 months of support from the great Harry Wiener. There he is. If they fire Stefanski and the coaching staff, I would bring in Jim Schwartz. That was the point I was going to make, Harry. Thank you. I was going to make that point, but I'm a big run-on sentence, so I forget sometimes. That would be fantastic. If the Jets If the Browns fire their coaching staff, bringing in and the Jets, dude, if the Jets pulled that off and brought in Jim Schwartz, it's reminiscent. Do you guys remember the defensive coordinator Nolan that we had? Do you guys remember him? He ended up being a head coach, but he was another guy like that. He's not quite the same, but he was this really good defensive mind, and he was just like something happened and he was available. And the Jets brought him in, and he completely changed our defense. He was like, I look at Jim Schwartz as very similar. Like, he can come in. We have some talent. Now, we're not as much talent as we've had in years past after trading Sauce and Quinnen and all that. But you still got Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson. You got some young players. You got A.Z. Thomas. We got a lot of work to do on the defense. You got Briggs. But a guy like Jim Schwartz, who has been there, done that, and he's aggressive, that would be a slam dunk, man. Right, Harry? I'm right with Harry on that one. So real quick, I'm going to end this poll. As you guys know, the poll we're joking around here, right? But if AG did come out of retirement, which he's not, but if he came out of retirement and he played the last 4 games for the Jets, would he find a way to get one friggin' pick that this entire defense has not figured out how to do? 68% of you said yes. That's amazing. That's amazing. It really is. Oh, I love it. I'm telling you, like, obviously it's a long shot, but I'm just telling you, I would, it's not happening, but it's fun to think about. Dude, I can't believe our team doesn't have an interception. So, all right. Well, look, Phil Adams is in the house talking about GreenBean on a Saturday night. It's afternoon, but this went on a little bit longer than I thought I would. But I want to thank you guys for hanging out. And think about it, man. The Jets have a line on that number 1 overall pick. Take a little look-see real quick before we go. There is one game separating pick 1 and pick 9. One game. And the Jets are in the middle of that mix. We're obviously not in the middle. But the Jets currently sit at pick 7. The Jags are going to stomp us. I just know it. I hope Brady Cook can look competent. And I'm real excited to see Brady Cook and some of the young wide receivers. As you guys may or may not know, Azariah Smith. I don't know what it is with his name. I confuse him and A.Z. Thomas. It's just tough for me. But Smith, our 4th round rookie, he's not going to be playing this week. So it's going to be the A.D. Mitchell and John Mechie show. And also Mason Taylor isn't playing. So we'll see. Maybe Jelani Woods can make his way onto the damn field. UVA's own tight end, Jelani Woods. Wouldn't that be fun? Because what's going on with that friggin' guy? He's huge and he can catch. Like, what's the story? His thing is always being injured. But man, what's up, Jingle Jongle? I got to believe that's Jingle Dubs. We'll see if he is or not. But Rusty Spooner's here. All you guys are here. This is so great. I'm glad we got some time to hang out, everybody. But let's watch tomorrow. The Jets play at 1 p.m. We will be right here. Jeremy, Jets Chaos, and myself will be hanging out with you guys. Next week, we got Nick Shine coming to hang out with us for the Saints game. But tomorrow, I think it'll be just Jeremy and myself, and we're going to have a blast. And we'll see The Jaguars beat the shit out of us. Let me look at, before we go, one last thing. Let's look at all the games this week. Let's do that before we go. You know what? Let's do it. Hold on. Here we go. So week 15, here we are. So we need the Titans and the Browns, as we know the Browns are playing the Bears. That's going to be tough. But who else we got here? Falcons, Bucks. Oh, they already played, right? So the Ravens versus the Bengals. I'd like to see the Bengals win, right? That's what I know my wife, my poor wife, with the Ravens. I love her dearly, and I want her to be happy, but I cannot root for the Ravens this week. The Raiders playing the Eagles. All we can hope for is a trap game. That's it. The Cardinals playing the Texans once again. You're hoping for a trap game. I'd love to see the Cardinals win, start pushing them further back. Chargers, Chiefs is what it is. Bills, Pats, who we rooting for? I hate them both. Jets, Jags, we know what's going to happen there. And this is an interesting game because the Commanders and the Giants both have a direct impact on what we're doing. Currently, the Giants are at pick 1 and the Washington Commanders are at pick 6. So what do we want? I think we want the Giants. I don't know. A realistic mindset would be that we want the Washington Commanders to win. That would be the realistic mindset. But the Giants winning doesn't necessarily hurt either, because the only positive of the Giants losing out is that you at least believe you can trade with them because they're not a quarterback needy team, right? So that's the positive there. Okay, who else we got? The Browns and Bears. We want the Browns all day, every day. Panthers, Saints. Where the hell are the Panthers in this mix? Where are they? Oh, they're way up there. And dude, I tell you, good for them, huh? So they're at pick 20. So we want the Saints all day long in this one. Saints, go Saints, baby. Lions, Rams, no bearing. Colts, Seahawks, we know what we want there. Let's go, Sam Darnold. I'll never be rooting for Sam Darnold harder than I am tomorrow. Packers, Broncos, doesn't matter. And we want the Titans trap game with the Niners. Come on, Cam Ward. Light up Robert Saleh and his defense. And then you got the Vikings, Cowboys, Dolphins, Steelers. So the Vikings, Cowboys, the Cowboys are at pick 16. So that doesn't, look, we want Dallas to lose because we have their second round pick. So that's easy. So we're rooting for the Vikings there. But the Dolphins, Steelers, where are the Steelers in this mix? Miami's all the way up there at pick 12 now. Ain't that funny how that happened? What is it? Miami who? Jesus. Miami Steelers. Where are the Steelers? So the Steelers are Miami's at pick 12. The Steelers are at pick 19. So, you're rooting for Miami in that one. Just because I don't root for Miami ever, but Yeah, totally, Phil. We got to root for the Raiders, but the Raiders got to win. We got to root for the Raiders every week, pretty much. So the Raiders are playing the Eagles. That's going to be a tough ask. Let's go, Gino. Let's go, Pete. What happened there? What's going on? What the hell was that? My own channel just popped up on a new tab. All right, guys. Well, with that all said, remind you, we're trying to get to 15,000, everybody. Help me get over this 14,100 hump. I have 14,189, I think it is. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. It is greatly appreciated. Don't forget to squeeze the milk thumbs on your way out. The old like button. Easy things to do. It's greatly appreciated. And the link to the Great Sleeper app is right in the top of this description. Take advantage of the amazing offers. $20 offer up top. $100 match for your deposit using the promo code GreenBean. Thank you to Sleeper. And thanks to all of you. Boy, oh boy, do I love you guys. Let's give you a fun outro today. What'll I do? Let's just pick one at random. Let's see what this is. I have no idea what this is. We'll just see what it is. Have a great rest of your Saturday, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at around 12:30 for the game. Have a great day. You can say, just like in Cleveland, they said it was a miracle. The Jets needed a miracle. Baloney, man. It was 14-14 at the half. We drove down their throats numerous times. We fumbled on the 10-yard line. Like, give me a break. We were in the game the whole time. We saw an opportunity with 2 minutes left, and we took it. That's what happened. We took your lunch. Cleveland Browns. Well, we did the same thing to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kenny Pickett, who they brought in the second half, and we've seen this so many times. They bring in the new guy. We saw it with Baker Mayfield. We saw it with Kyle Pitts. They bring him in, and he's the hero. Kenny Pickett, who's a punk, by the way. Laughing, he's jawing with our team. He's a rookie. He's out there. He thinks he's this, that, and the other thing. Well, guess what? He ends up throwing 3 interceptions, and he kind of didn't look so good the rest of the game, okay? After he kind of ran in a touchdown, looked like he was going to be the hero. Not so much, because he's a punk, and punks always pay, and that's the way it is.